All right, get up in here, everybody. It's the DLLS Cowboys Podcast, and it is time to step into KBBU, No Ball Better University, with your professor, Jesse Holly.
Class is now in session. Come on in to No Ball Better University. Presented to you by Qualis Roofing and Constructions. Our good people over there. If you need a roof, hit up Qualis and let them take care of you. And they are bringing gifts. So all of my good students come to the front of the classroom. All of you riffraffs and you wahoos to the back of the classroom or get the hell out. Or if you're like Clarence, you just be on your phone all day long while I'm giving this lesson. Yeah, you get the hell out too. Yeah, right? You all can get the hell out of here while we present this thing. The Cowboys.
What if for one day, no matter what we're doing, we stop the show immediately when he looks at his phone?
We never get a show.
What are you doing?
We never get a show.
But just one time. You think we could get...
What if one day
get him
a
off?
show where he doesn't have his phone?
What if we took his phone from him?
Impossible.
Can he make
Impossible.
it?
What if we took his phone?
Impossible.
Ali, would you promise to make sure that you were on top of any potential breaking news if we took his phone?
Yeah.
Yes.
Impossible.
We're going to get him one of them pouches.
Yeah. He would break out in hives if he didn't have it. Yeah, he would be like a crackhead. But as the Cowboys are in search of their new defensive coordinator, for the longest, the Cowboys have also been in search of a defensive identity. What will the Cowboys do? How will they function? How will they operate? And so as we're looking at teams that are currently in the playoffs and we're saying, man, is there some sort of blueprint, a picture, a model that the Cowboys that potentially could look at and say, we want to be like that. We want to have a team that looks like that defensively. We want to have a group of men who are on the side of the ball that we actually can be proud of. The Cowboys have not marched out a defense that you can be proud of in some time now. But I want us to go look at the Houston Texans, the D'Amico Ryan-led Houston Texans, and just how that defense is brought about. Now, the Cowboys up front, and Kata, you can pull up the first picture. When you look at what the Houston Texans does, the Cowboys up front, they already have a good start.
That's some good drawing.
Okay, they got a good start. But here's why I put these drugs around, because the Cowboys, right now, you have Quinnen Williams, you have Kenny Clark, and you have Osa Odighizuwa. So you kind of got you got a base. You know that you have those three defensive tackles up front that you can go off of. What the Cowboys now need to go and get is players that people fear. Okay? The Cowboys need to come into games on the defensive side of the ball with players that the opposing team fears. On the left, you have right there Danielle Hunter. While Danielle Hunter may not be talked about as a star, Danielle Hunter in his career, it's about 130 sacks. Like, Danielle Hunter is a damn good football player that when you look at him, he doesn't get the star-studded accolades like his counterpart in Will Anderson Jr. That's the drawing on the right. Pull that picture back up. The guy on the right is Will Anderson Jr.
That's their Micah right there.
That's their Micah. That's when he gets off the bus. That left tackle is having trouble sleeping at night because he knows that I have to go up against Will Anderson Jr. And then the guy in the middle linebacker is Al-Shahir, right? Azeez Al-Shahir. And Azeez Al-Shahir is the heartbeat of this defense. He is the attitude of this defense. He is their Mike Tyson. He's the guy that's going to play fast, physical, aggressive. He will go to the line, and every now and again, he will cross it. I don't know if he actually needs that elbow brace because he's had it on for a very long time. Don't think his elbow still hurts, but it's kind of like the whole Rip Hamilton in The Mask.
Part of his character.
It's a part of his character.
He's wearing armor
right now. That is, when he puts that on, he goes into the mode of being that middle linebacker. So the Cowboys, in their search of building a defense, needs to figure out, how can I go get some guys that people fear? We talked about Ruben Bain Jr. Ruben Bain Jr. is a attitude changer. He's the type of guy you put on your football team, and when he lines up, offensive tackles goes, oh man, I got to deal with this bleepity bleep for 4 quarters. Don't want to have to deal with it, right? All right, so next shot. So now we look at this. You already see ball is snapped, and who do I say you have to worry about? They've backed Al-Shahir out of there, but all of a sudden now, you know why you don't see Will Anderson? Because he's damn near on the quarterback's back. On the other side, They had to chip with the tight end and then allowed Danielle Hunter to work off, again, the left tackle and the left guard in this particular picture right here. The back picks up the middle linebacker. But as you already seen, once the ball is snapped, Will Anderson Jr. is off that edge, and he is around that corner at the quarterback already. Next slide. And then it's a meeting at the quarterback. This is what you want your defense to have. You want your defense to have consistently meeting at the quarterback. They should have powwow, dance-off, celebrations, meetings, or what have you at the quarterback position. So what the Cowboys are looking at, I want to have a ferocious defensive front. I want to have a guy off the edge that gets around that corner quick. I want to have a guy like Danielle Hunter, who is an established guy who is consistent at what he does. And then I want to have my other three guys that we already talked about. You have your Quinnen and your Osa and your Clark. So now the back end of this thing for the Cowboys is you got to find some cover corners. This is a passing league. If you can't if you can't defend the pass in this league, then
you're done.
You're cooked.
Yeah.
As the young people say, you're cooked. So I'm not saying that we have to go out there and find 14 Deion Sanders, but you need to find a group of men who can go out there and cover. So this first clip right here. All right, see what we have right here? This man across the board. All right, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. These guys are up in the face of these receivers, as you can see. And then there's safety. This is to say that's in the middle of the field who you understand and know that he can cover the middle of the field. And guess what, guys? He's back. He has his eyes on the quarterback. But as you see, that there's man coverage across the board, and they have some really good corners up there. Of course, you have the all-pro and one of the best cornerbacks in the league in Derek Stingley Jr. You also have Lassiter, and then you have your nickel cornerback in Jalen Petrie.
Baylor Bears stand up.
Dog.
Petrie is a dog.
Dog, right? This guy he's found in the second round is an absolute dog. All right. So now, if I have those guys up front that I know is going to be able to get to the quarterback, when I get a chance to now have to cover and I have some dogs in that secondary, press to the next clip, Kati. You go right here. Boom. Quarterback's at the top of his drop. At the bottom, you see that right there? Will Anderson around the corner, applying pressure on the quarterback. Lockdown, cover. Safety, he's out, he's back. Next slide. As you can see, everything is locked up. He's covered. He's locked. Meeting at the quarterback. That's safety. I am deeper than the deepest. No one gets behind me.
You firing shots at the Cowboys safeties?
No. I'm just saying, if you're going to be in coverage, understand the coverage that you're supposed to be in. If we're in man coverage, then I need to be deeper than the deepest. I shouldn't be up in the action. I should be back at the last line of defense. And then you have your cornerbacks locked up on the outside, those rush guys rushing up front. If the Cowboys are looking for a blueprint, if they're looking for someone or something to say, who can we mimic, copy, become like, it will be the Houston Texans. Now, I don't know how Deron Bland will heal. I hope that he heals well in this offseason with the foot injury. But the Cowboys have to go and find another quarterback.
3 corners, 2 safeties, 2 linebackers.
I'm just saying, this is what you have to be able to build. So you have to attack this thing in free agency, right? You got to attack this thing in the draft, because the Houston Texans right now, they're in the position that they're in, not because their offense was great, not because they had this prolific offense, but because this defense was able to stand up and stand on their heads week in and week out to get them in this position. They should have lost last week. C.J. Stroud was awful, but this defense stood up. And I mean, they answered the bell every single time.
Aaron Rodgers did not have a good time.
He was awful.
He was not having a good time.
Could you imagine what life would be like if you had something similar to this on the defensive side with what you have offensively? Yes. I mean, you're talking about 14 plus wins in the season. You're talking about going into the playoffs at the number 1 seed. You're talking about truly being a contender. So as the Cowboys are on their search for a defensive coordinator, I hope whoever they bring in will be able to look at a defense like this and go, I want to be like that in a year or two.
Listen, great job.
Talking to the mic.
Great job, Jesse. As I was paying attention, great job.
See how good that was?
I always pay attention. I always got a good. I always got. First of all, I always got a good ear. Okay,
I got a good
but
ear.
I put the phone away. One reason I was looking at my phone because I saw. I'm always thinking about the show, and I was thinking about the Texans, and I've been thinking about the Texans and how they built this defense. D'Amico had a quote that I was looking for. I'm not going to quote him correctly because y'all don't want me to look at my phone.
Correct.
But he said that when I look at my defense line, we have 4 Tasmanian devils.
Yeah.
Okay? That's what you want. 4 Tasmanian devils. That's the mentality. That's why I was thinking about Bane. I was thinking the last thing. Tasmania. You want that physical.
There are other DNs too. They got a safety. They got a corner.
Yeah.
Like Miami's defense plays like Houston's defense.
You want the attitude.
Like you can't play on this defense if
you're
not a psycho.
And one other thing to note, as you talked about that defense, you talked about up front. You didn't mention the tackle. You mentioned them ends. Okay, and as I've been saying, you got Micah. Get somebody to run with him. Okay, he needs another dog. You went and got Danielle Hunter. To run with your other guy.
Will Anderson, yep.
You know what I'm saying? You need 2 dogs. You don't get rid of Micah. You go get somebody to run with him.
Right.
They got somebody to run with Will Anderson. Okay, they got Danielle Hunter who is on track for the Hall of Fame.
He is,
his numbers
absolutely.
and he can still play. And then you got the middle linebacker, but you need guys to run with them. Yes, the defense line is good. We can't name, so we got to score a touchdown, but you really can't name the defense tackles on Houston. The guys on the end. Okay.
Yeah,
because they're the difference makers.
And I bet Will Anderson, when they're able to extend him, they do.
Yeah,
and they don't milk it out and then say they don't have enough money and then trade him. I bet they actually keep their best players. That would probably be a good first step.